Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Wave 8, I think it is. I've kind of lost track a little bit. This is the Power Rangers SPD Pink Ranger, Sidney Drew, or Sid for short. So looking at the artwork, we have the typical artwork of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, which I do really like there, of the Pink Ranger as it wraps around to the side. We get the same image on the other side. Here, on the back of the package, we have this promo shot of the figure, which has been corrected because originally when first released, she had a left hand on the right hand spot. It's kind of weird. It's a digital image and not actually an image of the figure anyway, so it was probably just an easy fix for them. Why they choose a digital render as opposed to the actual figure like other Hasbro ones. Well, actually I'm looking at a Transformer package, and I guess that might be a digital image too. Right, I can't tell if that's digital image or not. But anyway, regardless, we have the SPD Pink Ranger, so lots of SPD figures, so let's get right to it and open her up. Okay, so here is the Sid Pink Ranger figure out of the package in a solid release. However, typical Hasbro BS. Like, what the hell is going on with consistency amongst Rangers on the same team? Now, these are going to be minor things that can easily be overlooked. Yes, of course. But I still got to point them out, because when you spread out the releases on the same team, you start to get kind of the weird things of the inconsistencies, and it's just like, well, why? Like, whoa, why is it so difficult to just keep things the same? You already have the template of what you were doing and the color pattern or whatever it's called. Just stick with it. Why you gotta change it up? So it's one of those things. Now we'll talk about that, like with the accessories and how it's kind of worked out. It's just kind of weird to me that they wouldn't keep it the same. But anyway, let's zoom in, take a look at her accessories, and then take a closer look at the figure. Okay, so the first accessory we're going to take a look at is the Morpher. I don't know exactly what this was called in the show. SPD is one of those seasons that I have not actually watched really a whole lot of anything on. But here's where the inconsistency that I was talking about. This is silver. The silver looks good, the black and then the white lettering SPD. You got the red on top there, but the whole thing is silver. The other ones have all been white, so this was changed, and it's very minor. I get it, but why are things different across Rangers that are on the same team? Now this one, it's not so much an issue because it's just the accessories, but when you look at like the morphers for the Mighty Morphin team, right, the new Black Ranger doesn't have the red and the morphers, so just minor things like that. But anyway, there's the morpher. We get two interchangeable hands, so out of the package she actually comes with the left hand, which is an open holding hand, and then the right is actually holding hand as well. I already switched it out, so we have this open hand which holds the morpher, and then we have a fist for the left hand. Now the problem with this hand is it looks cool and it's new because it holds the morpher. You would think it doesn't actually hold the morpher. Like there's no way to get it to where it's actually going to stay in there and not fall. So it's just there for show, and you kind of have to just balance it, because once you try and move it around, it's going to fall. But it looks cool. The idea is cool, just poorly executed. Then here we have her weapon, so you could see like the sword where it's kind of down. I don't know. I guess I'm not sure if it's a sword. It looks more like a baton, I guess. But you could see it is down. And then we got the extended version here. Focus. There is the extended version. You get a little bit of red paint there on the hilt. That pink comes through there on the back end as well. That looks pretty good. And then we have the blaster here. Now here's another part of the inconsistencies here. Now this looks good because we get some nice silver paint on there, a little red stripe. That is all cool. But then when we look at the previous released one that comes with like the SPD Blue Ranger, his is different. So it holsters the same exact way. But if you look at his, we don't get as nice a paint. So the silver isn't as bright, and then we don't get the silver like there on the handle. So this is the SPD pink one, so we actually get more paint apps. We get that silver right there. We did not get that on the SPD Blue Ranger one. So slightly less paint, and it's not as well done. So Pink Ranger actually gets upgraded, looks a lot better there. And then last, we get this blast effect, which we've seen multiple times. But this one is in a pink color, and it looks like it's got a little bit of glitter in there, so that's kind of nice. I don't think we get any with glitter in the mold of it, so that is pretty good. So now let's take a closer look at the figure. Actually, going back to the blaster real quick, we also get right here on the front, those dots right there are painted red. The SPD blue, he does not get any of the red paint on there, and of course the weapons can kind of come together and build like so. So that is cool. Okay, so looking at a close-up of the figure, so the s.p.d head sculpt, the unhelmeted version, I think is okay, good, maybe, not great. The other SPD figures with the unhelmeted heads have, in my opinion, been some of the best that Hasbro has released for the Rangers. Beast Morphers being the best because, you know, the newest technology, the newest season, you know, it made sense. With the older seasons, they struggled. But with SPD, even being a fairly older season at this point, and I think SPD was before HD even had come about, and I could be getting my info completely wrong, or SPD may have been the first season with HD. I thought I had read something about that, but the head sculpts have been very good. This one is just not at the same level as the other ones, in my opinion. But you guys can let me know down in the comments below what you think of it. Do you think it's fantastic, or do you think it's a letdown? But let me know in the comments below. But looking at images of the actress and you know, from the show, looking at several different ones, you can kind of see what Hasbro was really going for. She has a lot of curls and stuff in her hair, which, you know, it represents there. Something about the face just doesn't quite work, and it just kind of depends. Now, you know, looking up images, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but looking at one, you know, it seems to be that's kind of a match dead on right there for this figure, or at least that's specifically what the look they were going for, and I just don't know that they really nailed it. And then something about the hair, you know, usually with the hair we kind of get a little bit of wash in there or some kind of color highlights to really kind of show the texture. We didn't get this with this hair sculpt, and then here on the back it looks just kind of flat and lazy and smooth, which hair shouldn't be, and I'm getting real nitpicky here, but thought I would just point out some of those things where it just doesn't look as good to me. But now that I actually look at it, you know, maybe there's a little bit of wash, but I don't know. I think it's late. My eyes are playing tricks on me. I see some darker spots, but it's just kind of weird. And then the hair, I get that, you know, they're going to sculpt the hair around her shoulders and everything, and, you know, that makes sense, but damn, that's some gappage there. Like, what was going on? Maybe it's because the heads have been, you know, too far down on that ball joint, that, you know, had this been some of the older releases where it was just too far down, that the hair would have actually rested on the shoulders. But, you know, that's a lot of gappage. Looking at it straight on, you know, you're not going to notice, but when you look at the side, it's like, well, damn. But that does allow for a little bit of motion, which is good. So enough about the unhelmeted head sculpt. We'll take a look at the one with the helmet. I actually think SPD has some of the best designed helmets out of all of Power Rangers. I'm a big fan. No paint issues on mine. We get a nice silver paint, a little bit of red on the side, black for the visor. We get silver for the mouthpiece, and then the SPD logo there. It all looks really good. The 5 painted on the torso looks pretty good. We get a little sloppy paint right there at around the collar. Not an issue at all. The black 5 and the white, there's a little bit of fuzzy spots, but overall I'm very happy with it. We get that nice SPD logo there on the side. It is not sculpted on. That looks to be like a print, and it came out nice and clean. The SPD there looks nice and clean. Even on the back, we get some clean spots. Around the torso bend, well, I see some of the pink coming through, but that's right at the joint. It's not that big of a deal. Then the rest of the figure is just basically pink. We get a little black and silver around the boots, and all that looks pretty good. Now, going back to some of the consistency things, is the belt is this silver color. Looks good. It's actually an upgrade to what Hasbro was giving us before, but then it goes back to that whole consistency thing. So you can see the gray of the belt on some of the older ones just was really dull, and it's that gray that I absolutely hate because it's just a cheap looking gray. But that's what we were given. So the consistency would have been nice, even though that, yes, this is an upgrade, but these ones just kind of look a little off when you compare it to the pink. But I mean, I guess should be happy there's an upgrade there. You guys let me know what you think about that. Okay, so moving on to Sydney's articulation. So she can look down that much. The head does sit higher on the neck peg, so you can actually get her to look down and up, which is good. You get the full rotation in there, of course. Not really any pivot going on in the head. You can get the shoulder to go up this high. You get a full rotation. There is a butterfly joint, and what's nice is they actually painted that white line all the way through, which is good, so you can get the arm to go back that far, and then coming forward is very little, but it's nice that there is the butterfly joint on a female figure. We get a single jointed elbow, which has a swivel at the elbow, and we get that much bend out of it, so just over 90 degrees there. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge like so. Torso joint or diaphragm rocker on the female figure, so she could pivot to her left that much, which is pretty minimal. Pivot to her right that much, again, pretty minimal. Without using the crunch, going back is hardly anything. Going forward is basically nothing, but we get that crunch there, so you can get her to come down that much, which still isn't a whole lot, but back you can do a whole lot. It's just coming forward. It seems like that belt kind of gets in the way and hinders it a little bit, so maybe if you kind of work that belt, you can a little, not a whole lot. And then you get the twist actually at the diaphragm, so you can do her turning, because there is no waist swivel. Legs go out that far apart, which is good. She can't kick forward that high, which is kind of basic. You can work it around a little bit, but it's not a whole lot. You have the upper thigh cut there. You get a double jointed knee like so, and that boot's kind of big, as you can see, so it's really hitting the back of her leg. There is a swivel at the boot. Foot hinges all the way down. You get a hinge that goes up a little bit, not a whole lot. Ankle pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So typical articulation for a female Power Ranger figure. So there we go. Now let's see how she looks with the rest of the team. Okay, so here we have the whole SPD team that has been released so far. So we have the Red Ranger, the Blue Ranger, the Pink Ranger, the Omega Ranger, and the Shadow Ranger, I believe he was called, all the way back in Wave 1, which has some crazy, unique sculpts to him that are not going to be used on any other figure, unfortunately. But it was really cool. They had to come in strong for Wave 1, of course. And then if you wanted to include, we have for SPD, we also have the A Squad Blue Ranger, because these are the B Squad Rangers, and I know there's a storyline reason. The A Squad has come up missing, I believe it is, and so these guys kind of take over the Power Rangers team, but they are considered the B Squad, which seems crazy because you would want them to be the A Squad, right? They're the heroes, they're the team that you want to vote for, but then, you know, A Squad just messes shit up by falling over and knocking over other figures. But we have that. Will we get the rest of the A Squad? I kind of think we will. I hope they don't do the Amazon box set like they did the Psycho Rangers after already releasing 2 of the Psycho Rangers. But this is Hasbro. I would not put it past them to do some shit like that. We could get a whole box set with all of A Squad. Or we could continue to see the battle packs, the versus packs with the other ones. So we may get the A Squad. You know, what other colors are there? Yellow? No, well, no, because SPD Green is getting released in Wave 9. So I'm thinking they're going to do a box set with all of A Squad, because I don't think Hasbro actually expects everybody to buy a bunch of blue A Squad Rangers and then paint them all yourselves. Unless they just don't do any, right? Which I don't know that it's going to be a big deal. I would like to see them all, because having all the Psycho Rangers is cool, so all of A Squad I think would be pretty cool too. So we shall see. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of that. Let me know what you think of this Pink Ranger figure. I think it looks pretty good. Definitely a solid release. The consistency is really throwing me off when it comes to the little things. In the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big of a deal. I don't think it's anything that should stop you from buying the figure at all. But it's just one of those things that makes you wonder. It's like, well, why didn't you keep it the same? On this figure, the Sid figure, yes, they made the upgrades, actually added more paint to the accessories, which is great, but then it just throws the consistency off. Overall, I'm still happy with it, and I prefer these new ones as opposed to the older ones. So it's just one of those things. You know, re-releases are bound to happen when we talk Hasbro. You know, it sucks when they get them, but usually they will either change something, a different head sculpt, Maybe they'll include a different accessory, because with Power Rangers, they always have like secondary weapons, and they always change their suits into this thing where they power up. Not all the Rangers, usually just, I think, the Red Ranger, or whatever the case may be, some of the whole team. There's some weird, crazy stuff with Power Rangers. So who knows what Hasbro will do and what we will see. But SPD seems to be coming in pretty heavy, with the Green Ranger being next. So I think they're going to finish it off. And don't be surprised if we see an Amazon box set with the A Squad. That's just my prediction. I have absolutely no idea, no inside information, nothing like that. We shall see. But anyway, you guys let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below on this Pink Ranger figure. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.